Well, hello YouTube, and welcome back to the Holtzmichel channel. Well, I'd like to welcome all the new subscribers that have came on board recently, and thank all the returning subscribers for stopping in and checking things out. Today we're going to be taking a look at a welding fixture that I conjured up for welding pipe. When you get into bigger pipe, you know, like in the 2-inch and above, you know, you're welding this stuff. You're not threading it anymore and fitting it together that way. Although, you know, I've done a lot of smaller pipe, you know, welded pipe that small as well, but or even smaller. But the problem you have with bigger pipe when you're doing corners is that you have a hard time controlling the setup. And so, you know, to get a tack weld placed, you got to maintain level or plumb in your setup and so forth. And so when you're monkeying around with an elbow out the end of a pipe, horizontal pipe, you encounter, you know, problems, you know, like you got magnets there. Let me grab one of these. You got magnets like this where you can set up on it, but of course the arch of the elbow is larger. The radius of that is larger than the radius of the welding magnet. So you have, again, a problem trying to attach the magnet and hold the work in place before you can get a tack put on. And so to help that out, I conjured up a fixture here to assist with that. So for those of you out there doing some of this kind of layout and are looking for an alternative method to, you know, do your setup, this will maybe give you some inspiration. Now, I do apologize for the wobbly footage in advance. It's one of those things, I did this on the fly. I was pressed for time, so I just grabbed the video camera. I didn't have my tripod with, and so I just threw the footage together as fast as I could go without losing too much time and getting the job done. So again, sorry about the wobbly footage and the poor sound quality without the external mic. You know, everything was recorded without an external mic, and again, handheld. So the video isn't the greatest. It'll be a little choppy, but I hope the point comes across for this project. So here's part of our setup. We got this angle iron. Cut at an angle. Doesn't have to be precise because down in here we're going to be filling in the gap posts. It's not completely, we're just going to be putting enough of a bead to join these plates to this upright. Our channel is about that level in the vise, and on the longitude it's quite level, so let's hold the level to the vertical here, and we're off a little, so we got to get this the same as this bubble here. Okay, now we got that one set to that one. What? So now we're ready to give them a tack down in here, probably right here on the corner, and down here fairly low. I want to avoid getting into this stainless steel rod because this is my spacer. This gives the side plates here. This is a piece of cold rolled either side, and so this gives it the support that it's going to need in here. Then we have this gusset piece here. This is going to get tacked on like so. And then these other plates down here, I got to move my spacer them down and then tack these onto the back end of this. And then we can just take vice grips and clamp this on. I'm going to drill these and tap holes in them later, tap the holes later, but for now this is just going to have to be a temporary fix. One of the things else we did here was to make this tab a little longer than the jaws of the vise in order to be able to clamp this directly on here. A lot of times your ground clamp, your ground when you're welding on stuff like this, it has a tendency to get lost pretty quick in the structure of the vise and everything. So in order to maintain good ground and get a good clean weld, I went ahead and cleaned this up here a little bit and then attached the ground clamp right to the tab instead of like over here on the corner of the table. This works, but like I said, in order to get a good clean weld on this, the best thing to do is actually attach it to the work right to the flange itself, and then we get a good clean weld. There's our setup after it's all been welded, and here we have the pipe already laid into the trough. Everything's leveled up, bolts in the flange holes, and it's important to keep everything on the same level. That's why this bubble isn't quite right on. It's the same as the level across these 2 points, the V of this channel, and then this angle iron, and then the same thing with the vertical of this. So our welds here aren't the prettiest. This was just a quick and dirty project. If I wanted to make this look good, I would have TIG welded it and then probably gone over it with a stick. But this is the tail end of it here to keep the thing all in line. And so important is to keep the right gap ratio between the two segments of pipe so that you get a good penetration on both sides. So you got to let the puddle flow in between the two segments. This is a little bit too much gap for this thickness of pipe. I've been maintaining 1.5 millimeters. This is a 2 millimeter plate, but for the way this thing is set up, these are about the optimum setup here. I might just go and take my 1.5 millimeter wire fork and stick it in there, but then it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass to pull it out once you get the tack welds in. So now I can tack this and then set my other extension right up on top of here and keep on going from there. So here's the cuts of the pipes butted up against one another. Got the right distance here between the two pipes, 1.5 millimeters, but as you go up you can see there's a gap forming there, which means the pipe isn't cut off straight, and it's this little elbow down here that isn't quite in a right angle. So what we're going to do is tack right here in this corner, and then we can pull this back with the level and get it nice and plumb in all directions. When you look at this, we got flange is plumb. Whoops. Flange is plumb. Pipe. The pipe is level. And so now we just got to get this lined up with the rest of it, and then we'll have it in a nice right angle. But at least the tacking part of it, because these kind of magnets right here, you can't really do much more with one of these jigs and pipe this big, so you got to find a way to help yourself somehow or another. So that's how we're doing it. Okay, here's another fixture that was put up on the welding table. As you can see down here, there's a flange been attached, and you can rotate this pipe in between these casters. They have been placed on the table precise so that they line up just perfect and don't bind up. These are, you could almost balance the shaft on these. They're been lined up that well, but these are a rubber coated tire. And so it makes welding a flange on fairly easy. Again, there's tricks to getting those boogers put on there, but anyway, that's the other fixture that made this one here a long time ago, but hope that gives you guys some ideas. Well, YouTubers, I hope that give you guys a little bit of an incentive or inspiration to do this kind of stuff for yourselves. If you ever encounter this, I realize that, you know, among my subscribers and viewers, there's probably not a whole lot of folks out there doing pipe or welding pipe, or, you know, pipe fitting for that matter. But for those of you out there who are using it as a means of construction, you know, for building stuff, like the brush guard on my pickup, here's a picture. So if you're doing that kind of stuff, this kind of layout will definitely help you guys in getting that accomplished and maintaining you know, a good accurate picture. You know, the aesthetics of your work will then improve quite a bit, so that you're not out there having to grind and, you know, do all kinds of other stuff. So if there's any thoughts, critiques, comments, by all means, put them in the comment section below. It's always good to hear from folks, to see what's on their mind. If there's something about the video, I realize again, the video quality wasn't the best, you know, and I do apologize for that. I do make an effort to, you know, make the quality as best as I can with what I've got to work with. So I realize the picture is also a little grainy. Again, limitations of the equipment. But anyway, if there's anything on your mind, by all means, share it in the comment section below. If you have a better way of doing it, by all means, share it. We're always open for suggestions. And, you know, again, this is a platform for sharing information for folks. So if there's a better way of doing it, hey, you know, let's get it out there so that, you know, folks can, you know, share the wealth. So anyway, that's a wrap for this episode, and we'll hope to see you guys again very, very soon.